Yeah, let's talk about a few ballot measures, state or county.
There are 7 total, right? Whether it be state or county?
Well, there's just one at the county level that I wanted to emphasize, and 3 at the state level, but there's 7 at the state level that we can just say yes or no briefly.
Okay. How many at the county level is there? There's one I want to emphasize. How many are
There are 3
there?
at the county level.
Okay. Well, how about, why don't we talk about the county level, and then we'll get to the
Okay.
state. And the one you want to emphasize, you can emphasize, and then the other 2, if you want to just suggest yes or no.
Yeah, so there's a measure on the ballot for the Washington County vehicle registration fee to go up by $30, and it looks like they want to raise $12.8 million annually. And this is for road maintenance and operations in Washington County and some road improvements. My problem with these kind of ballot measures, whether it's a bond measure or property tax or in this case a fee, is that it's a bait and switch. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing in this ballot measure that says that the current funding out of the county general fund will remain in place. So they can put this in place and take the same dollars that were previously being spent on this and spend them elsewhere.
Yeah, that's what they do, don't they?
Yeah, and so, I wouldn't say exactly it's fraud, but it's certainly a bait and switch.
Yeah.
If the ballot measure said that the money spent on road maintenance from the general fund would not decrease, then I'd pay $30 more for registration. But it doesn't say that. So there are 3 ballot measures. I oppose all 3 of them, but this one is the one I wanted to talk about because it's the way politics operates.
Yeah. If the politicians are dishonest, which is why we really need to elect honest politicians.
I don't know,
No?
dishonest, but they know the game.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's dishonest to me. I mean, I just want to know things up front. You know, when I have kids, give me a straight answer. Don't wishy-wash. And in politics, they act like teenagers a lot of times. So
Yeah, they're trying to figure out.
did I say teenagers? First graders.
First graders. But like I said, they can move money around once they pass this.
Yeah.
And if there was a prohibition against reducing funding from the general fund, then I would support it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pay more for road maintenance, but that's not what the ballot measure does.
Okay. We don't have time to talk about them, but the other 2 from Washington County, you know which one they are?
One has to do with restructuring the county charter to make the commission districts more even than they were before. I don't think it's necessary. I don't strongly oppose it, but I'll probably vote no on it. The other one was to fund Portland parks and stuff like that, because there must be a few precincts in Washington County that are covered by that. And I don't see a reason Washington County should support Portland city parks.
Oh, yeah, interesting, okay. Now for the statewide ballot measures, there are 7, and we have, if I can borrow this, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, and 92.
Yeah, the first one is 86. It creates, this constitutional amendment creates a fund for Oregonians pursuing post-secondary education, authorizes state indebtedness to finance the fund. This is a boondoggle of the first order, and I wouldn't vote for it on a bet. It's just welfare at taxpayer expense. So I definitely vote no on that.
Okay.
Measure 87 permits employment of state judges by the National Guard, because right now you can only work for one branch of government at a time. I think this is not closing a loophole, but I think it makes use of the judges, for example, in the National Guard. So I would support that.
Yes.
One of the big ones is Measure 88. Has to do with giving driver's licenses to illegal aliens so they can drive to jobs that they cannot legally hold.
Yeah.
So I urge a no vote. Actually, I'm not sure. You'll have to get the voters pamphlet, because this is a referendum. It was a law passed by the legislature, and it was referred to the ballot by the people. And so you have to look at the wording carefully to make sure that you understand which vote makes this go away. And
Oh, it's one of those things.
right.
So you don't know if it's a yes or no?
I think it's a no, but check the voters pamphlet on that.
Okay.
Because it's a referendum. In other words, a bill is passed, we got enough signatures to put it on the ballot, so the law is in hold. Measure 89 is a state equal rights amendment. I think it's an exercise in political correctness. We don't need it. I will vote against it.
No, then.
No on 89. We'll come back to 90. 91 is the marijuana initiative. All things considered, it's probably a good idea to vote no on this.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that this whole push for marijuana being legalized, I don't really get why there's this big push. It seems to be everywhere.
Yeah,
And it's a gateway problem.
There's no reason we should do this. Measure 92 is genetically modified food labeling. That isn't, and I'm kind of neutral about that, I don't really care. The problem is that this ballot measure provides for citizen enforcement, which is an invitation for environmental legal terrorism. It means that anybody could sue to enforce this law for any reason, and I don't believe in citizen enforcement of law in the court system. So regardless of how you feel about GMO labeling, I urge a no vote on 92.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's one of those like bills where they tag something onto it.
Well, I'm sure that was done with the environmentalists in mind to, you know. The big one is Measure 90.
Okay.
Measure 90, what it does is it changes our primary system so that everybody, all the political parties run in a single unified primary, and the top two vote getters proceed to the general election. This has a number of problems. First of all, it freezes out the minor parties from the general election. It's the general election when people are paying attention. So almost in every case, you're going to have a Democrat and a Republican running in the general election, because the minor parties are not going to finish second, and so they'll be frozen out.
Yeah.
The other thing is it reduces choices even among Democrats and Republicans, because the Democrats are not going to run three candidates, or the Republicans are not going to run three candidates, because that would essentially mean the two Democrats would win and proceed to the general election. So you could have two candidates from the same party.
In the general election,
In
if
the
this passed, then
Yes.
Multnomah County would have
Yeah.
two Democrats probably running against each other.
Well, if they're smart, they would only put up one candidate per party, but you can't prevent that from happening. People need to understand that political parties exist for like-minded people to gather together and present their best candidate to the people in the general election. Now, there's the argument that people are being who are not part of a political party don't participate in the political process. Well, they can run, get on the ballot directly, or they can form their own political party, but there's no reason that just people who are not Republicans or people who are not Democrats elect people to represent them in the general. Now, this ballot measure failed miserably 6 years ago. And it was like 64 no or something. It was a pretty decisive. Every political party in Oregon opposed it. And there's actually one political party who actually, Working Families Party, I don't know anything about them, but other than, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Constitutions, Green Party, everyone opposes this. It turns out that Kitzhaber and Dennis Richardson support it.
Really?
Even though their respective parties oppose it. Which I suppose is fortunate, because it takes the issue away. It's not part of the governor's race because they're both in the similar situation. But I absolutely recommend voting no on Measure 90, because it takes away people's choices for their candidates in the general election.
Okay.